This TFMR podcast is brought to you by your friends at JM Bullion. Visit jmbullion.com for all your gold and silver bullion needs. Welcome back to your TF Metals Report podcast highlights for the first week of August 2023. We've been out for the last couple of weeks on vacation. Didn't really miss much, so that worked out okay. But now we're back and rolling as the markets heat up. Very good seasonal time for COMEX gold. Now, it didn't have the best of weeks as interest rates soared and the dollar went up as well, but it wasn't bad either. As we wrap up the week, you may not realize this, but gold is up about $150 year to date, about 8%. May not feel like it, but it is, doing exactly what we want it to do. As the week began back on the last day of July 31st, we discussed a number of things in our daily podcast. One of them, what appeared to be a breakout in copper. Now, the rally in the dollar later in the week brought it back down, made it look like a false breakout. It's back within the wedge. However, copper prices are trending higher on falling global supplies. And when copper breaks out above $4 and moves higher, that will have an impact on silver, so we got to keep watching it. Again, that chart of copper, just one of the things we discussed in our daily podcast on Monday, July 31st. And finally, here's copper. Like I said, up 2.2% today, north of $4 on the close for the first time since April. And if you go back to that high, the highest so far this year, back there middle of January, and connect to that high in April and extend it down, look at what we got going here. Hold above this level, we could be looking at 415 before too long. I would expect that's probably going to happen. Again, given all the physical supply shortages, concerns that have been there all year long, especially then if the dollar rolls back over too. Either way, good to see copper moving higher, that having a positive influence on silver, no doubt, and it will continue to have a positive influence on silver. We did not have a podcast on Tuesday, August the 1st, as I was traveling home from that vacation I mentioned. And that's fine. It was not a very good day anyway, with the dollar soaring and precious metals prices falling. The same thing continued on Wednesday. We took a quick look at the daily charts of COMEX gold and COMEX silver. We expect prices to trend downward the rest of the week into the latest jobs report, but that should be a low. We'll see how that turns out. But on Wednesday the 2nd, the price charts of gold and silver were definitely a topic of conversation. Look at gold. Coming down, where's it going to bottom out? In this area around 1960. That's where you'll find the 200-day moving average, 1955, just below there. If you are looking to buy, add to your stack, gamble, that's the price you want to look for. About another 1% down from here, sometime in the reaction to the BLSBS on Friday. Silver's the same way. Okay, what could silver come to? Breaking down through its 50 today, getting more flushing of the specs. Coming down here, see how I was riding that 100-day back in June into early July before the dollar melted down? That's where it's going again. So somewhere down here between 23.50 and 23.25. Another 50, 60 cents down from here, 2%. That's where you're going to want to look for it Friday morning. On Thursday the 3rd, with 1 day to go before that jobs report that always moves the markets, we took a close look at the dollar index. Now look, it has been following the same trend line down now for almost a year. Look at all the points that align on this trend line. Could the dollar move up to the trend line again, to about 103 or so before falling backward? That's possible. We'll see how it goes in the reaction to that jobs report. Nevertheless, it is definitely headed lower, ready to roll over again. And when it does, that'll be productive for the precious metals. Anyway, that chart of the dollar index, something we watch every day and something we discussed on Thursday the 3rd. Okay, so finally to tomorrow. Again, as I laid out for you, I expect the BLSBS to, Rick Santelli's hair to be on fire, what's left of it tomorrow. 445,000 new jobs! Okay? When that happens, the dollar's going to surge. It's currently 102.55. It's going to go all the way up to 103. And it may fiddle around there into the early part of next week even, like it did back, with this trend line for about 2 weeks back at the end of May and early June before falling. Look how it's also kind of banging around, trying to break out above its 50-day moving average like it did at the end of June before falling. I think it's going to roll over again. That's why I feel pretty confident that your most recent opportunity to buy the dip is tomorrow, somewhere before or shortly after 10 o'clock Eastern. Friday, August the 4th brought the latest edition of the U.S. Jobs Report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or as we call it at TFMR, the BLS-BS. The number came in below expectations for the second month in a row with significant downward revisions, as has been the trend. That helped the dollar to sell off, interest rates to come down, and gold and silver to reverse. All week long at TF Metals Report, we've been discussing a low on Friday, somewhere near the 200-day moving average and the trend line off the March lows. That's exactly where price bounced earlier today. Now, there's a little time left in the week, but we're looking pretty good. Nice little reversal on the daily chart. COMEX gold in the front month December contract is still around $1,980, down a few bucks on the week, but not too bad considering the move in the bond market. Now we'll head into next week with information on inflation, and we'll see where we go from there as we approach Chairman Powell's big Jackson Hole speech in about 3 weeks. Thank you for listening to TF Metals Report podcast highlights. We invite you to join TFMR. It's only $15 a month. You can get full information every day with a post in the morning and a podcast in the afternoon. Great way to stay informed on everything that's going on. The global economy, the monetary system, Fed policy, you name it. We watch it all at TF Metals Report. Again, thanks for listening and have a great weekend.